Okay, so this real rich oil guy, he goes into a dive bar, sits down next to a rancher, and starts talking with the rancher. He says, "You look like a rancher. You into ranching?" And the rancher goes, "Yeah, I got me 50 acres just north of town." And the billionaire oil guy says, "Oh, 50 acres. My property is so big. I got so much land. Let me tell you my story. I can leave my house in my pickup truck in the morning. I can drive all day, and I still don't get to my front gate by the time the sun is setting." What do you think of that? And the rancher looks around and goes, "Yeah, I had a truck like that too." Oh, come on. That was funny.
One, two, three, four.
Okay, the intro's over. Time to grab your drink and sit down. Come on, we're starting. Doom, 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 doom. Yeah, that looks like you can see the little bars moving, little lights moving sideways. That means I'm talking and you're listening. That doesn't mean I'm really talking. It doesn't mean you're listening. It means you can't hear me. And today is Monday, August 21st. Come on, crack it open. Super Chicken Secret Sauce, for those of you that remember from the late 60s and early 70s, it was a filler cartoon when they had nothing else to show you, was Super Chicken, but this is how I start my day, every day. Got to get going. It's not true. It's just Jack Daniels poured inside of here. I make you think that it's secret sauce, but it's my secret sauce. It's about as popular as Maxwell Smart having a phone in his shoe. Maxwell Smart there was a TV show called Get Smart, and he had a phone with a dial. Okay, I am not going to sit and stop the program and explain stuff to you kids in here because you don't understand what I'm talking about. There's plenty of people in here that know right what I'm talking about. They're just having a conversation with me. They don't even understand why I'm stopping to explain it. But if I have to stop and explain a goddamn shoe phone to you from Agent 99 and Maxwell, I can't do it. I'm going to drink my 2 ounces of whiskey and pretend you guys are leaving. Now, just go on. Now, while I'm drinking this, you guys just exit. Go look it up. If you're under the age of 45, go look it up what I'm talking about. You can come back later. But when you return to the party, please sit at the little kids' table so you can correctly be identified by everyone else. All right. Like Jordan in his prime, he shoots for 2. Hoop. Okay, so, so much to say. That was a good joke. Come on, that was kind of a dad joke, but that was funny. I picked it up. I was going through Yellowstone again last night, just rewatching the series. It was a good one. So I got to tell you, I'm having trouble talking this morning. No surprise that I'm a big fat white guy. We know that. No surprise that I wear a CPAP machine at night, which, by the way, mine is super attractive. I don't look like a dork. Mine, in its fashion and design, I might show you sometime, resembles a jet fighter. When my wife looks at me sleeping in that bed, she's thinking Iceman. She's thinking Top Gun. She looks over at me. I sleep with my dark glasses on. Yeah. She doesn't let me wear the helmet, but I got the dark glasses and my CPAP machine on. I mean, I sound like Darth Vader, which is cool. I'm good with that. But I mean, every night she looks and she's thinking, I'm sleeping with a big fat white jet fighter pilot. No, it's a good thing. You got to take something that could be a bad thing and turn it into a good thing. Oh, she's very turned on. Let me tell you. It's true. Okay. So last night my mask wasn't sealing quite right. And so I adjusted it kind of super tight because I was sick of it, and there's lots of people that use it. So some people know what I'm talking about. So I just make it tight, fell asleep. I passed out. The problem was I had the thing on so tight that it was pulling on my lower jaw a lot. So this morning I woke up and I'm like, oh my God, I can't fucking move. I can't talk. I was sitting there like this going, I can't move my jaw. I don't think I can talk. You know what my wife said? She goes, tighten it up like that every night. I said, why? She goes, because it's going to make you shut up. Oh. Yeah, true story. She said that to me. True, it's a story. So, I'm hurting right now back in here. And I was going to drink a lot of whiskey this morning, but it was 10 o'clock in the morning, Los Angeles time, and I didn't think it would be quite appropriate to drink, and I wasn't going to use the 5 o'clock somewhere story that everybody uses. So if I'm a little bit, and I can't find it's because of this right here. So now you know. I want to talk briefly about something. I want to talk briefly about something because this affects every show. It doesn't matter we're on Facebook or we're on TikTok or YouTube. It doesn't matter. It's a world show or a Bottom of the Glass Nation drinking show, which we do, which are a lot of fun. There is always some sort of tragedy going on in the world. And it's hard to talk about it and feel the gravity of the situation and then move on. Because if we talk about Ukraine, there right now, as we're sitting here, there are people holding their children in Ukraine, in parts of Ukraine, wondering how they're going to get them food and water somewhere. If we talk about Maui, there are people that have lost loved ones and are sitting on the ground in Maui. We say, oh, the wildfire is a terrible thing, and stuff goes, and we move on, but they don't. We talk about it as a soundbite. Now, there's a reason for that. Now, please listen to my whole thing before you judge me on this, okay? You could do a program where the whole thing is heart wrenching, you pulling everybody's emotions down, but it's hard to do that. It would be, I don't think I could do that without just turning off the camera and the mic. I would be too emotionally vested. I try to find a way to convey what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, to listen to what you guys are telling me about the parts of the world you're thinking about, and then I try to move on and change the tempo without losing the soul of what we just talked about. It's not as easy as you guys think. So keeping that in mind, there's also personal tragedies. We've had, over the past 3 years, we've had people that are you guys that have called in, that have written in, that have chimed in the comment section and said, I lost my dad, I lost my mom. There's some tragedy, and I try to stop and acknowledge it. Some people don't want me to. Some people ask me to. And then sometimes when I find that I'm talking about something personal with you guys, personal that has to do with you folks, sometimes I get a letter saying, hey, this is what's happening, but I need you to not talk about it. What I need from you, General, is I just need an hour to forget. I just need an hour to try to get my mind out. My tragedy will be here in an hour. I just need an hour to get away. So it's very difficult for me as a person to know what to say, what not to say, because you don't want to have a prelim conversation with the person. Well, would you like to know, can I mention your wife? Can I mention your parents? Can I mention your name? Can I not mention their name? I'm not trying to set precedents for what we're doing, but there's two things I wanted to tie in. One is that there can be global issues going on that are heart-wrenching, and they matter. They matter all the time, and we're just touching on it. There are things going on in your life right now that matter. There's things that go on in my life, not at the moment, thank God, but they will, and they have, and they matter. Right now, I'm going to touch on something. One of you guys, and the person's in the comment section, but heavily in Discord. If you guys are part of our Discord server, who he big supporter of the program, longtime friend of the program, and every staff member in here, and he's one of you guys. Remember that. He's one of you guys. Because this could happen to you too. Terrible car accident. Ex-wife died immediately. And his two boys, one, they both almost died. One's pulling through, and the other one's 50-50. Right now, as we're talking, right now as this show's going on, he's here, probably trying to forget. He's not here to get answers. He's not here for any of us to nothing anybody can do. There's no words we can say, except we can all feel helpless and pray, which I've done for hours now. But he's here. He's in the room, waiting to see if one of his sons is going to live. And I can't think of anything worse than a parent having to lose a child. And it may happen. And it brings the tempo of the show down. Can you feel it? People just walked away, see the numbers go. I don't care. I'm not here to get ratings. I'm not here to get numbers. I don't have a sponsor. I'm here to talk about stuff. And if people don't like that I have a human connection and I have feelings towards something, well, you know how I feel about that too. But I want you to know, and I'm speaking directly to him right now, that I even dug something up, which I don't normally do, but I want to show it to you if I can find it real quick here. Yeah, I found it. Because this man hovering, and we a lot of us have been there, where you're hovering over someone special to you, whether it's a relative or a friend, a wife, a child, and you can't do anything but wait, and they tell you that person's not going to make it. And I didn't bring this up before, but I'll bring it up now. That's my wife. That is Jennick's mom years ago. Fighting cancer, fighting chemotherapy, and then she died. They brought her back to life, and she was clinging to life in this picture, and they said she will not make it 24 hours. They told me she will not be here in 24 hours. Every doctor, every person we could call. So if you think for 1 second that I don't know what it's like to be hovering over someone not being able to do anything but pray. You can't say that. You can't say that I don't know. I do know. I know exactly what it's like. In fact, some of you know the story, she died in my arms. I was carrying her. I was moving her, and her heart stopped. Her breathing stopped. Eyes rolled back in her head. And then, of course, they trained professionals came in and brought her back. So I still think a child would be worse. I still think the possibility of losing a child would be worse. And that right there was one of the worst pains I'd ever felt. So I don't know whether you come here for comfort from us or whether you came here to get away. I'm not going to spend a lot of more time on it. But my friend, I will tell you that at 10 o'clock in the morning, I've been praying. I've been hopeless. I've been helpless with you. And I've been in that position before. And I'm going to drink right now the last little bottle of something. I'm going to kill this dead soldier right here. Sam, buddy, if there was words to say, I'd say them. If there was something to do, I'd do it. But I'm going to move on, and I'm going to try to have an uplifting show, something for you could forget about it for another 45 minutes. But I'm going to drink this one to you, Sam. Buddy, we'll talk as soon as this is over. Anybody who can raise a glass for our buddy in there, just remember, someday you're going to be in that position too. Nobody escapes it. Some of us sooner than others, just so you know. All right. So, yeah, there was some stuff going on that bothered the shit out of me. Skip over that one. I'll go back to that one. Yeah. Let me start by complaining. Anybody who, real quick, let's cover some stuff real quick. If you're watching this program and you didn't get notified by YouTube, join Patreon. One of the mods put up the Patreon link. It's $1, but you get an email. You need to let you guys know where at Facebook, TikTok, wherever we're going to just send an email, say, hey, in a half an hour we're going on here. Just let you know. It's the greatest dollar you ever spent. All right. Also, real quick, we're not going to be in Eureka tonight. We were supposed to be tonight. We were supposed to be at the pizza place in Eureka. We can't make it. Hillary, that bitch, Hillary messed everything up. We'll talk about that, but it'll be September 11th. We'll talk about that more. Postponed till September 11th. No more, not tonight. No. And tonight on Discord, we're watching Grease. Everybody should hang out on the Discord server. We're watching Grease together. It's another couple hours you can kill. It's a great movie. One of my favorites. Yes, my wife and I sing the songs. We sit on the couch together and we sing along with all the songs. No, you will never see that. No, there will never be video of that, but it does happen. We've been doing that for 30 years. So, yeah. Real quick here. So this kind of bothered me. What have we been hearing? Is it 93 people died, 95 people died, 92, 95, 93, 97. And now that number went away, and this hit the news for me today. This came across my news feed today. 850 missing? Wait, how could they be counting? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and you, and it's okay, 97 people are gone, dead. We can't find them. Do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, it's Tuesday. Yeah, 90s, in the high 90s. And people, count again. It's Wednesday now. Count, okay, Wednesday. And all of a sudden, here we are. It's been days and days and days. Now, all of a sudden, 850? 800? Why wasn't this number started at 100 and then 300 people missing, 400 unaccounted for, 565? We can't find them. 7. Why did we start at 850 a week later? 850 missing. You better hope those people got on boats and just headed out to sea. Or you better hope that they all got on an airplane or something. Before. You can't just say now. It's like, now it's 850? You're fucking kidding me. Okay, this is why I'm not in charge of anything. Because if I was in charge over there, I'd be like, what the fuck, man? You're coming up with this number. What have you been doing? Tell me you've been out there with a pen and paper walking around personally counting missing people, and that's why it took so long. Because Maui's a big island and you got a lot of walking. Tell me that's what you were doing. You don't just dump this number on people right now. Oh, by the way, since the Maui fire is 97 people dead and 850 missing. Now over to Sports Desk. You can't do that shit. Who the fuck comes up with this kind of nonsense? All right, I got to just over here real quick. Hold on. Stand by. I'm doing something for you guys. So if you calm your ticks and debts, hang on. And we're still in there. Well, I'm going to refresh it to make sure it's good because it could be wrong. I got to check YouTube real quick. Got to make sure that they're not fucking with something. Yeah, see, it's on there. And they did it every goddamn time. Every time I start talking. So I turn it in early now and see what happens. All right, so it's in. All right, moving on. Let's go back. Okay, so that was one. 850 Maui. I don't get it. Now, let's go to the more pressing matter, which everyone was wondering about, was Hurricane Hillary. That bitch. I've been used to saying Hillary, that bitch, for so long. I was thankful that they named something else that was equally destructive, Hillary, and I was already had my vernacular. I was already ready to go. So the main thing was, and a lot of you know that we live in California, and the bunker that we broadcast from is safely and securely 200 feet below occupied California. But and Hillary was making a beeline right for it. Now we have a lot of relatives and a lot of friends from San Diego right up through Los Angeles, San Fernando Valley, and right over the hills. So we knew a lot of people that we could call and get like live updates. They could say, yeah, it's raining heavily, it's a lot of wind, or it's not. We were very much on top of that. So the thing you guys around the world are going to see, you're going to see tons of pictures like this, and it's going to show flooding and flooding and flooding and flooding. Let's be fair about where all this flooding and flooding is coming from. Deserts. Yeah. Let's not forget that a lot of Southern California, like in Los Angeles, is just a desert. There wasn't a great soil. You add water to it, you can grow lots of stuff, but it's kind of a desert. You look at pictures from the late 1800s, early 1900s, it's just scrub and nothing there. It was deserty. But the good thing about that soil is on this side of the mountains where Los Angeles and San Fernando Valley, it's real dirt. It absorbs water and sinks in, and it can hold a lot of water in the ground. All of the deserts in Southern California cannot. Palm Springs, Lancaster, Palmdale, Victorville, Barstow, all that stuff up there. And I've lived up there. I've driven up there. I've done a lot of stuff. I'm telling you that flash flooding like this doesn't take much rain at all because it doesn't sink into the sand. It just sinks in and fills up. It's like, you know, where you could pour 30 gallons of water and dry dirt in my backyard and it would all sink in the ground. You pour 30 gallons of water straight down in the desert, and the first gallon goes in, 29 gallons looks for a new place to be. Think of it that way, and you got it right on cue. Is kind of how that works. So a lot of the pictures you're going to see of the flooding is a lot. Look at, there's another one. And again, the palm trees, desert. Look at the desert in the background. Look at the sand. Look at the scrub oak. It's desert. So a lot of stuff you'll see that the flash flooding is very easy to get pictures in the desert area. So all they got to do is just poke around, and they come up with that stuff. So Hillary, it was kind of a funny story because we never get hurricanes in California. Ever. Like the last one they said that was this intense was 84 years ago. So this thing comes barreling up and hits San Diego. Hit San Diego pretty hard. I have a sister-in-law who lives there, and she couldn't even get on her broom and fly around. Now that's some heavy wind. When she can't get on her broom and fly around in San Diego, you know there's a problem. There's a lot of wind. So getting some reports from her and what's going on down there, and then it kind of moves straight up to and hits L.A. And then there's a mountain range. This is the part I don't understand. I've watched hurricanes over there in Florida and on the eastern seaboard. And it seems like you guys always tell us, the rest of the world, like, well, if Florida is flat, if you didn't notice, Florida is very flat. And so it's very flat. And so it's very easy for the storm and the storm surge to come on shore. But don't worry, as soon as it hits Florida, which is flat, by the way, the storm will begin to dissipate over land. Okay? Well, Florida's flat. I think I made that point. The hurricane's going to come over Florida, and it's going to dissipate. It's going to slow down some. Going to hit, Georgia and the Carolinas. Going to slow down some when it gets over land. All right, I got that. It seems logical. But why were they telling us that Hurricane Hillary is going to hit hit San Diego, then go up and hit L.A., and it's going to gain as it goes? And as soon as it hits L.A., now you have the San Gabriel Mountains. And I say mountains. You guys have real mountains like in the Rockies. These are hills, but they're mountains to us. They're 4,000 feet tall or so. And there's a lot of them. There's like this row. So I'm thinking, And when it gets to the central California where I'm at, I'm like, they're terrible rain. You're going to have 20 inches of rain. Like, I don't know, man. Isn't this, hurricanes dissipate over flat Florida. I'm not thinking they're going to do so well over, 30 square miles of mountains before they get to me. But no, they kept saying, flash flood warning and wind advisories, and they were putting out all this stuff. And, the typical news of doom and gloom is coming. The end of the world is nigh. And if you don't know what nigh means, go look it up. It got here. Heavy rain, a little bit of wind. Nothing to write home about. But it was, boy, they tell you everyone's dead. Everyone's dead. Flash flood. We're all going to get washed out to sea. What was funny to me was that California's not known for hurricanes at all. What are we known for? Everybody? Anybody? That's right. Earthquakes. So here comes Hillary barreling up through San Diego and attacking LA, and we have an earthquake. Yeah. 5.1 earthquake. Almost like California said, what the fuck, man? Don't pay attention to this storm. I'm the earthquake. No, earthquake. Thank you. Remember? Earthquake. That's what we're known for here. Right in the middle of this hurricane, California has an earthquake as a reminder that's what you pay attention to. Earthquakes jumped. I'm the number one disaster here. You fuck that. Every 84 years you get a hurricane. Fuck that. I'll earthquake your ass 3 times this week. So, yeah, we had an earthquake right in the middle. It wasn't a bad one, but it was still knocked some glass out of where it had in Ojai, knocked windows. That was bad because right in the middle of a hurricane, you lose all your windows. It did some damage where it was at. But 5.0, I'm grown up in California. 5.0, yeah, I'd kind of raise an eyebrow. If there's a 4.5 and under, I don't even get out of bed. I don't even move. The whole house can be shaking. If it's a 4.5, I'm not even moving. But, around a 6, you start going, well, how bad, and 7, your ass is moving. You grabbing some shit and you running out the front door. Yeah. So I'm just saying that Hillary was not as bad. Now, Two Bear, he got the brunt of it. Two Bear was a senior staff member for a long time here. He's working today, and he got a ton of rain and a I'm not saying Two Bear was drunk last night. I talked to him. I was in contact with him a lot yesterday. But imagine this. He's in the middle of the fucking storm. There's 9 inches of rain falling where he lives. He's prepared his house. He's got his wife and his kids all locked in. This motherfucker's in the backyard, and he's taking pictures of what's going on. And I know for a fact he was drunk. Now, he didn't say that, and I never saw a picture of a drink in his hand. But I promise you, I know Two Bear. I love him like a brother. I know he's drunk because in the middle of the fucking storm, in the middle of this, he hit the brunt of the hurricane. If there was going to, before it hit the mountains, that's him. In fact, he lives at the base of some mountains. So this storm hit the mountains, got more angry, and did more damage. He's out there in the middle of the night with his phone videotaping the American flag on a pole in his backyard, and he sends it to me, and he says, because he's in the middle of all this chaos, and he's like, that's right, goddammit, American flag still flying in my backyard, motherfucker. Like the storm was anti-American, and him and the flag and his house and his property were giving the big fuck you to. I'm not kidding. That's the video he sent me last night. Oh, man, they just made my night. If you could just imagine this old boy, Generation X, standing outside in the middle of this with that. He's videoing the flag for me while. Oh, my God. Boy, what Generation X. Boy, us redneck hillbillies. We got our priorities right. Middle of a national disaster, and things are flying through the air. And what's important? That fucking flag still up there, man. We were Fort Sumter on the West Coast if I've ever seen it. I'm sorry, I'm getting all teary-eyed talking about it. Oh, Two Bear, you gotta love that guy. And those of you that know Two Bear personally, and there's some of you that do, you could totally see him out there like in his boxer shorts, his biker boots, and just his Freddie Mercury leather biker jacket on, going fuck you. Anyway, I don't know if that happened. I'm making that part up. All right, where was I? Dum dum, desert rain, desert rain, desert rain. Yeah, what else happened over here? Oh yeah, so the Russians. We talked about this last week. You know, the Russians and the Chinese and India also, but everyone's trying to fly to the moon to put a flag, claim their stake to the moon. So Russia was first and didn't make it. Now, if you read the story on this isn't uncommon. Russia moon mission ends in disaster as lander ceased to exist. Yeah, it blew up. It fucking crashed. Don't cease to exist. You fucking toasted it on the planet, on the moon. It crashed. We got it. But I skimmed through the article on there. I was trying to pick up some stuff. They kind of give you clues on things. They had been working on this program for over 10 years. Now, I don't know what pops into your brain first. I know my brain's all messed up, okay? A generational brain here. The technology that you had 10 years ago is nothing like the technology you had yesterday. So if you guys are revamping, reorganizing, and trying to fit the parameters of technology, changing the rockets, changing the computers, changing electronics to keep up with the times while you're figuring this shit out, I think you wasted 9 years. Instead of retrofitting, you watch, maybe someone's going to say, well, the technology they were using wasn't compatible with the... You watch, when the story finally comes out and the truth comes out on page 9, 6 months from now, maybe we're going to find out that with the integration of the technology over decades of trying to put the technology of trying to infuse with the electrical and the rocket, the propulsion system was... Why didn't they just start a year ago? Why didn't they just go to Elon Musk and go, hey, man... Can one of your rockets put this up on the moon for us? Appreciate it, buddy. Let's work on that part right there and have him help out. Why couldn't you done that? I mean, this was a decade worth of work. You should not have been working on this for a decade. There is no way. Now, we went to the moon in 69 or something. We've been working on it for a decade. Technology wasn't going leaps and bounds from 62, 63 to 69, was it? There's some increase, but nothing like we got today. I'm just saying you guys probably should have just waited, had a few beers, hung out, and at the last minute, bottom of the ninth, got your shit together. What do I know? Okay, this one's dumb. Loch Ness Monster fans prepare for biggest creature hunt for 50 years. All right. First of all, I grew up with that little gray, dark gray head of the Loch Ness Monster. That was the little gray head. And that was the big thing. And I saw In Search Of. I listened to Leonard Nimoy. I got it. But didn't they debunk that? Didn't the dude say it was me and my brother? Right as they die, everybody says, "Oh, Bigfoot was me and my brother in a Sasquatch suit." Okay, and then this one is right on his deathbed. He goes, "Oh, it's me and my brother with a floating head we made in our backyard." Isn't that all been debunked by now? So, and first of all, you guys are all full of shit. I watched National Geographic, man. They had a program called Drain the Oceans, and they got LiDAR. And LiDAR can see through the water and map what's on the bottom, and it can find boats, and it can find all sorts of shit in the ocean. I saw Drain the Ocean, man. Nazi submarines, sticking up like that. Don't tell me again in another 50 years. Bullshit. Come on, man. This is 2023. Put some technology out there, man. Let's put some space satellites pointing down. Let's beam through that, right through the water. We'll find this shit. I'm just telling you, there's no way we can not know now. I thought in the 80s when they used those boats that went out there in the 80s, and they all had radar and sonar pointing up and pointing down and pointing in and pointing out, and there was triangulating 37 boats sweeping the whole lake. Didn't miss a thing. That was the 80s. The shit they got now, you know what? This Drain the Ocean, the LiDAR, it's probably an app on your phone now. Yeah, some 9-year-old probably walk out there with his phone, download an app, and point it at the water and go, oh, there it is right there. Or there it's not. Come on, man. I'm just a dumb mechanic in the middle of the desert, and I know there's people way smarter than me can handle this shit. That's it. I'll call in Neil deGrasse Tyson. I'm going to find out what's going on here. So, yeah, there was another thing out in Argentina. So where's Argentina? Ice cream price doubles in 1 month as Argentina battles massive inflation, because the article is not just about Argentina. Every country is dealing with mass inflation, and some are not doing well. Some of them, it is killing their economies. There are things happening, especially in South America. Venezuela, it's jumping borders, and it's hurting everybody. And there's some country, and they're trying to point this out in the news. They're like, inflation is going to start killing people. Inflation is important. Inflation is something we have to vote out of office. We have to vote other things in. Inflation is a problem. Inflation is an issue. I'm not so sure showing ice cream is the way to get that message across. Again, something's wrong with my Generation X brain, Gen X brain. That's the first thing I thought. I was like, yeah, inflation's bad. Why are we showing ice cream? And yeah, this is coming from a big fat guy. You would think a person like me would be, oh, shit. Ice cream's doubled in price, man. What the fuck are we going to do? You think a big fat guy like me would be very upset by that. I don't care for ice cream. Not that much. But they're appealing to a very narrow audience of people that need to be told inflation is an issue. I'm just saying, as the Germans were rolling across France in World War II, I don't think the news article of the day should have been like, man, sauerkraut. It's going to be super expensive now, man. Sauerkraut. Is that right? Sauerkraut? Yeah. I'm just saying, you got to focus on, you're going to try to get people to be concerned. I don't know, gasoline, basic food necessities, rent, inflation, man. Whatever. You guys got it figured out. If ice cream is the gig, there's candy bars in there too. In fact, that's all I see. And I see candy bars and chips. I don't even see any ice cream in this fucking picture. Okay, now the guy who wrote this really pissing me off. All right, whatever. So, yeah, that's just the thing. All right, here's a bit of good news. I know I've saddened everybody in the program with the prospect of ice cream doubling, and I got it. Dry your tears. There's some good news. This is something I've been waiting to see. Armed Good Samaritan stops suspect in packed restaurant thanks to Second Amendment. This is what I have been advocating for without telling people grab a gun and go shoot people. It's not what I'm saying at all. But I'm saying if a bad guy with a gun can run into a restaurant and say, give me all your money, why can't 30 people in that restaurant stand up with their guns and say no? You see where I'm going with that? This is the news I've been waiting for a long time. I've been waiting to start seeing articles. What was that guy who was that Pakistani guy just whacked the shit out of that dude in the 7-Eleven with the cane? They put him on a baseball card, man. Yeah. You stand up for yourself. You don't say, "Oh, you're robbing me, and it's okay, and I'm sorry for your terrible upbringing and your race and your oppression. Just rob me." Fuck that. Don't give a shit about your personal problems. You're not going to rob us. I've been waiting for people to stand up. And you guys have seen a story after story where a guy pulls out a gun and shoots the robber. A guy pulls out a stick and starts beating the shit out of the guy. An old guy pulls a knife out of a guy's hand. Yeah, these are... Churchill said, for evil to rule the world, all good men must do is nothing. Stop doing nothing. Stand up and be counted. I think that's a great way to go. I really do. The more stories I see, when I keep seeing stories of someone standing up saying, yeah, a fucking guy took out his own gun and said, all right, now let's go. Good. Because it's not going to stop crime, but enough people say, well, innocent bystanders could get hurt. And no shit. That's what happens when you bring a gun into a restaurant to rob somebody. You have now put everyone in harm's way. You've now escalated the situation. But the liberal press, if one good guy stands up with a gun to stop, whoa, that guy is going to cause a situation that harms people. No. The asshole who showed up with the gun did that. This guy's just trying to stop him. Liberal media on the wrong side of every issue. They don't want to make this guy into the hero. They want to talk about how this guy was oppressed and we gave him no choice. He had to rob. The bottom line is, it warms my heart when people stand up to bad guys. Good guys standing up to bad guys. That's it. And I don't care what race and what gender. I don't give a shit about. I don't care about that on either side. I don't care if it was some skinny white trailer trash redneck hillbilly that started to rob the place and some black executive man that works for AT&T stopped him. Good. I don't care. I don't care who's raising how old they were and what there's. I don't care. A good guy stopped a bad guy. That's all I care about. All right. Let me jump over here between the sheets. And out. Discord movie night tonight, 6 p.m. Los Angeles time is Greece. Why does it say and out? She writes in between the sheets. Now, for those of you who don't know, I have another monitor over here. It's to my left, to your right, and my wife is in her office, and she's copying and pasting stuff you're saying. I'm trying to get to it, all right? But she wrote and out. And out. Discord movie tonight, 6 p.m. Los Angeles time. Not sure. Oh, now, as I'm talking, she erases the and out. Way to go. Mama Mac, the safest society is an armed society. Like the safest place is a gun show. Yeah, who's going to start shit when everyone is armed? You imagine walking into a gun show and trying to rob the people? All those tables and thousands of people with guns and ammo. Everyone got, fuck you, give me your money. Oh, Stuart Bailey, the UK. In the UK, the bad guy would have more rights than those who might try to stop them. Stuart, that's what's happening here. There's only one situation in the United States where maybe two, but when you stand up against a person, a criminal, a bad guy, that the person standing up has equal or a better chance of not going to jail. Two situations. One is kids. Left, right, conservative, liberal, Republican, Democrat. If someone's messing with someone's kid and the dad comes in and fucks that dude up, 99.9% of the time they're like, yeah, we don't care. You fucked with their kids. That's the main one. There seems to be universal coverage on that. Nobody gives a shit. You don't start talking about, well, how was the guy's upbringing? Did he have to attack your child? Did he have to attack your family? Nah, no one gives about. No one cares. In the United States, still, that's one thing that it's equal opportunity for everybody. You fuck with a guy's family and he takes you out. Nobody questions it. The other one is your home, which is kind of the same thing with family. But if you break into a home, and yes, everyone's going to argue, well, there was this one guy at this one time who fell through a skylight. No, you're inside someone's house and the rules change. They're pretty heavily favored in my country, pretty heavily favored to, defending your family, defending your home. That's still... those two things are still, but you do it out in the open, you do it on a street corner. Yeah, the victims have more rights. They do. The victims. No, I'm sorry. Not the victims. The perpetrators, the criminals, the bad guys have more rights, and it's just stupid. Scott Harmon, hey General, is Gen X Mom looking good again today? Hey General, is Gen X Mom looking good again today? See, Scott had to ask that question because Scott knows there's some days she doesn't look very good. Oh, yeah, there's some days that she puts her hair up, she Ethel Mertz it, she walks around the house and she's Ethel Mertz. There's some Ethel Mertz, Lucille Ball, beautiful. Ethel Mertz, kind of the ugly friend, they dumbed her down. They kind of the Ethel Mertz. I am not going to sit here and explain my terminology to all you guys. If you don't know what I mean, leave the program. But Scott had to ask the question because rightly so. There are days he's hoping that one day, 2 days out of the month, she looks good. That's what he's hoping for. She looked okay today. Nothing to write home about. Would she get on camera? No, not a chance. No, not even a little bit. That guy has the General checked out Richmond north of, yes, I have. I've listened to it 100 times. We've talked about it a little bit in here. I think my favorite part about that is the backlash. I think the cry, they're almost crying as much as they did when Hillary lost. That's what I can equate it to. And it's funny, the more times that they try to say shit like that, the more the backlash just raises that song up to number one, makes people more aware. You guys aren't canceling shit. You every time you try to cancel, the pendulum is swinging back the other way, ladies and gentlemen. And every time you idiots out there try to target something to be canceled, you make it the most popular thing in the world for a day, for a week. You do it every time. It's amazing, and the lines are drawn. And people, see, on one side, you have a bunch of people, you get people over here protesting and crying and screaming, and they got blue and pink hair, and they're out in the street, and they're gluing themselves to the sidewalk, and they're fucking screaming and stopping traffic. That is their way of protesting. Then over here, you got the lines are drawn right down the middle, and over here, you got a bunch of patriots that are loyal to the country, loyal to the flag, and we protest with our checkbooks. And you're going to find out that all these people that are the powers that be, that have that make all these decisions and do all these things and control all this shit, they respond to money and power. Why they're bending their knee to you idiots in the beginning, I don't even know. But you're losing your grip on them because we're voting with downloading songs and not buying Bud Light. We're doing things in a direction that's making a difference in the way they think. You said, well, you get the black and white issue, and it's, you know what? It's a green issue. And I'm not talking about greenhouse gas. I'm talking about money. All we do is stop spending for a little bit. Believe me, we have their attention. One song's not getting a bunch of, this song over here getting a bunch of downloads and millions getting spent. Why? Because you guys went against it, so we went for it? Oops. Yeah. That's my take on it. All right. Teapot, remember for 1 year, wish they had those laws in Ireland where you could protect family and property without worrying about going to jail. You don't? You really can't do that over there in Ireland? Someone breaks in your house and starts raping your wife, and what do you got to do? Fill out a form? Make a phone call? Be tying that telephone cord around that dude's throat and choking him to death. Skeleton Man, Diecast Collector, good morning, General. Just saw a great movie trailer called A Million Miles from Home starring Michael Pena. I like him as an actor. I do. My wife and I both like him as an actor. We've seen him in a couple things now. Well, the one was Shooter a long time ago, remember? Then there's that new one. He's a series out. What is that name where that chick's running the CIA Black Ops thing, and he's one of the Black Ops guys? Great character, too. He's a good actor. I got to check that out. Tim Burgess, new member. Thank you guys for all the time you give to us. Glad to know you guys are safe. Also, as a 39, soon-to-be 40-year-old, I like to thank the General for all his wisdom. Tim, I appreciate the kind words. Just remember, everything I'm passing along, it's plagiarized. I've stolen it from every place I can think of. I haven't had an original thought since 1973, and I plan to keep it that way. Thanks, Tim. Glad to know you're still around, buddy. Divided we fall. Hey, Pops, are you prepping? I'm not as extreme as you. There's people out there that got charts and graphs and clipboards, and they change their little dye packs in their flour to make sure that not like that. I've got, we talked about this before, I got a generator that runs on propane. I got enough generator for 3 or 4 months. I've got food and canned food and water for 3 or 4 or 5 months. I got enough ammunition. I'm covered on the basics. I have, sturdy gates and concrete block walls and, the basics. I'm not out in the middle of the desert. I don't have a football field of a warehouse buried under the desert. I don't have that. I don't have hot air balloons that I can go up and survey a 1,000-yard kill zone that's all been cleaned out. I don't have that, but I got my fair share. I told this story before. People in my neighborhood, everybody knows me in my neighborhood. And when there was a time, it was a couple years ago now, we lost power. Our whole town, was a traffic accident, hit one of the substation things, like a semi went through it, and we lost power for 2 or 3 days. And so for 2 or 3 days, everybody's I watched them. They take their trash cans to the street and they throw out all the food in their fridge. They throw out all their stuff. They're driving their cars, trying to charge their cell phones, and everything's a mess. And there's one house out of 2 or 3, 3,700 houses, one house had the lights on at night. One house had a microwave that worked. One house had cold beer in the fridge. This guy. Yeah, we had a generator, turned it on, flipped off the breaker, plugged their stuff in, boom. We had all of our fridges and freezers worked. We had lights on. We could even, if we really wanted to, we could run one air conditioner in my house. It's a big generator. So people laughed at me, and then guess what? As soon as it all, everybody ran out and got generators because they're like looking down the street. I'm like, no. I would sit on my front porch with a pistol because when you're the only house for 2 or 3 days that has power and lights on, people notice, and these are like moths to a flame. They know you've got food. They know you've got water. They know you got your shit together, and they're sitting there suffering, even though it's only been a few days because they don't have any bottled water. And the water coming out of the tap is intermittent and shitty. And yeah, well, fuck off. I very clearly said, just stay off my driveway. That's not my fault. I don't have an emergency. You have an emergency. So nothing dramatic happened after that, but my son was there and he'll tell you. And then other people and generators, and not that they see, the problem is that people are so stupid in my neighborhood. They're going to go buy generators and plug them into shit. And then when the power comes on, they're going to have two power sources going in. They're going to have the generator and they're going to have the city power, and something's going to fucking blow up. Just the only reason I would warn them is because I don't want the house next to me catching on fire and then catching my house on fire. So there's some people I got to say, hey, you're going to fuck up and it's going to affect me. Don't think I'm being nice. I'm just trying not to let my house burn down. But what do I know? I'm just a dumb mechanic in the middle of the desert. All right. Mama Mac General, how is your wife not partially shaved your head and beard in your sleep after all the shit talk? I always threaten my hubby with putting horrible smells in his CPAP machine. Oh, there isn't anything. My wife and I've known each other since we were 5 years old. Went to grade school together in junior high. I mean, you know someone, you know every birthday party, every family you spend every day. Even if you're not in the same classroom, it's all the recess and PEs and lunches, you know them. And next year you're in their class, next year you're not. We have 5th and 6th grade pictures where our class pictures, we're in the same class picture. You know, it's a private school in a small corner of the San Fernando Valley. So all the families knew each other. All the parents knew each other. All the kids knew each other. I mean, it just was the thing. So I've known, her family's known my family's known her family, and we've known each other forever. So there's no secrets. I know every fucked up thing she's ever done growing up. She knows every fucked up thing I've done. She knows that no matter how much shit I talk, it is absolutely with love and affection. I've never crossed the line with her. I've never said something where she came kicking in the door going, you shouldn't have said that. I wish you hadn't done that. I absolutely, when people talk to me about relationship advice and marriages, I always tell them the same thing. Whatever the rules are, stay in them. You know what you should or should not say to and from and about your wife. You know that. Just stay there. Don't get drunk and go out of bounds. It's the same with, I know this is a dumb topic, but sexually, whatever you're allowed to do. If it bothers your wife to look at another woman, don't fucking look. That's it. That's not her problem. That's your problem now. Whatever the rules are with you, if you're allowed to do this and not allowed to do that, if you're allowed to say this, not allowed to say that, whatever you guys, stay within the rules, dumbass. It's always people stepping outside of the rules of their marriage that begins down that road. And it can be something like talking. Well, I don't like you talking to that girl. Well, nothing wrong with me talking to that girl. I can talk to that girl. There's nothing wrong with me talking to that girl. We're just friends. If it's a problem for your wife, don't do it. Because then she's going to break a rule just to get back at you. You see how the dominoes fall? I tell everybody something simple. Talk about whatever the rules are and just fucking stay in them. Or don't be married. That's it. Everything else seems to take care of itself. You start with that. But what do I know? I'm just a dumb mechanic. That guy, remember for 1 month, for the first time in my life, it feels like something big is coming, that prepping would be required. It just feels like the U.S. is about to hit a major strife. I don't know. You're talking to a guy who was raised during the Cold War. You're talking to a guy who was always 1 minute away from a nuclear attack from the Russians and from Cuba. You're talking to a guy who was there was always something happening. There was always something going on. So does it feel like it today? Yeah, not as much or as little or as before. About the same to me in my book, but what do I know? You know, I don't have any idea. Hang on, I got to turn this off here. There's a fucking guy, man, I'm going to find out who's been texting all this fucking show. I swear to God, it's probably staff. They always got something they got to fucking say during a show. Like they're commenting to each other. Do your fucking job, man. And if you can't do your job, go to work. Stay at work. Scott E., did you hear they found an illegal Chinese biolab in Reedley, California? That's scary. Yeah, we did. We heard about that. And there's people, there's still good law enforcement shutting shit down. You know, they find it, they take care of it, they get it out. I got it. You know, we got some shit over in China, too. They don't know about, not a lab, but we got some stuff. Dragomir says, greetings from Bulgaria. Long live Generation X Dad. From Bulgaria. That, you know, Dragomir is our number one guy in Bulgaria now. He's our only guy in Bulgaria. But that does put him to the front of the line. Thanks for chiming in, buddy. David Weefall, who's voting in the next rigged election? What a long topic that would be. Okay, listen, we're coming up on the hour. We're coming up on time. There was something else. No, wait, don't go. Don't leave. Wait, I want to show you something else. Come on, there was a thing in here. I really want to show you guys. Or is it Hillary? Is it the desert flooding and the Russia and the Loch Ness? Evil to rule the world. Come on, man. Where's it? Oh, right here. I'm very upset about this. This is probably the most upsetting thing I'm going to see today. Remember the song Fat Bottom Girls? They're cutting it out of all of their albums, their greatest hits. Fat Bottom Girls. Oh, won't you take me home tonight? Remember? Fat bottom girls, you make the rockin' world go round. They're cutting it out, and they're saying children should not be exposed to that type of music. What the fuck are you talking about? You got drag queens dancing half naked in front of 8-year-olds, but a song Fat Bottom Girls that I will tell you promotes fat bottom girls. It talks about them. I love me some fat bottom girls. I have found me some fat bottom girls. I remember me some fat bottom girls. It's good. It's all about how fun fat bottom girls are. And you're saying that children should... Do you hear what's in some of the lyrics about killing cops, killing each other? Fuck the white guy, fuck the black guy, fuck the Chinese guy, the anger, the violence, the racism that's out there in music today? And you're worried about this? That if nothing else tells a fat bottom girl, you're fucking hot. You're hot. And they're cutting it out. They're cutting it out of their... This is the most devastating news of the day for me, I got to tell you. Tongue in cheek. It's not the most devastating, but I'm going to pretend that it is. But you got to admit that's ridiculous. And again, what did we just talk about? What's going to happen? In 3 days, they're going to say the backlash from the Queen and Fat Bottom is now the #1 most downloaded song of the week. Yeah, no shit. Everyone's going to think you're cutting it out. Everyone's going to go run and do it. Rock and roll cover bands all over the world are going to be doing this. They're going to add a song to their set and go, hey, did you hear about Fat Bottom? Fuck it. Let's put that in our set. Everybody's going to do it. It's going to be the most heard song for the next 30 days. Because you whiny protesters on the side of the road with your signs and your pitchforks and your torches are nothing compared to the people of the world with common sense, who vote with just what we do, the money we spend. If one guy's out there and he had one song to download because he had $3 left in his bank account and he's trying to pick a song to download, that motherfucker's going to download this song right now because of you. The pendulum is swinging back the other way, and I'm happy to see it go. What is this? Last one here in the sheets. Let me do this. Let me cover this. Let me catch this. Super U Fitness, Ross Mac, Odia, Ireland. We don't have guns. I always got questions. What happens if a ricochet hit an innocent? Does the hero get put away? Well, Ross, Ross sounds like he's on the side of no guns. A bad guy comes in the house. Everyone's at risk. A good guy steps up and fires, and a ricochet hits an innocent. That's the bad guy's fault. It's the bad guy's fault because the bad guy shouldn't have been there with the gun in the first place. We wouldn't have needed a hero. And I'm going to tell you, I don't have an answer for this. So don't think, if this is going to leave you hanging, I apologize. Every courtroom goes the same way. Pay attention because this is going to bother you. They describe a bad guy comes in the house with a gun. A good guy tries to stop him. Bad guy gets killed, and an innocent person gets harmed or dead because of a ricochet bullet. Here's how it goes in court. They say, Your Honor, we admit a bad guy came in the house. We got it. We admit the bad guy had a gun. We got it. We admit the bad guy was threatening the family. We'll stipulate to all of that. Okay? Bad guy's there, gun is there, bad situation. Stop. Your Honor, at that point, did this man have to get up with a gun? What if he just sat there and let this man ransack the house and steal a television and some jewelry? Everybody lives. At that point, we've conceded this was a bad situation. However, Your Honor, the moment this man that you call a hero stood up, he escalated a situation and people died. It's this guy's fault. That's how it goes every time. And you have to deconstruct that, and you have to unwind that. But the point they do every single time, luckily, when it comes to protecting your family, the judges and juries, they don't let you unwind it. But imagine it was at a 7-Eleven. Imagine the gun was pulled at a school, at a park. Every time we admit all of the bad things the bad guy did, it was his upbringing, it was his childhood, it was oppression. It brought him to this moment. But at this moment, do you realize no one died? Do you realize no one has been shot at this point until your hero arrived? And that's when things got bloody. That's how they describe it. Every time. There's all sorts of things you can say. There's all sorts of things you can, narratives you can push. And there's the Hollywood movie version of how all these things can transpire with great one-liners. But the truth is that they paint that picture. It's like if one guy brings a gun and shoots at this guy, the bad guy fires 5 shots at the good guy. The good guy tackles him, takes his gun away, and then fucking puts one in his back. The good guy's in trouble. At the moment you disarmed him, you should have stopped there. Fuck that. I disarmed him so I could shoot him. He shot at me 5 times. But once you disarmed him, you became the problem. Once you disarmed that man, the situation was under control and everything was on an even keel, and then you murdered him. Fuck that. My emotions were still running pretty high. It was still pretty clear in my memory that this guy fired 5 shots at me. Fuck that. He was going down. I didn't care if it took all day. Do you see what happens in the courts? That's what happens in our courts. Letting you know. So it's the bad guy's fault. I would turn that around every time and say, once that guy woke up and decided to pick up his pistol and cause a problem, all bets are off. That's like if you pull a gun on a cop, fuck it. I don't care if they turn off their body cam at that point. You pull a gun at an officer, all bets are off. You just gave up all your rights. You gave up all your privileges. You're done. Now there's just 2 guys fighting it out. Don't do that. There's my advice. Don't pull a gun on a police officer. Don't break into someone's house with a gun. You do that, all bets are off. You're in fucking trouble. All right. Deepak, man, for 1 year, did Queen make the decision, or are we being forced to remove it? I was trying to read if Queen, the publishing, the distribution company is making that decision, and I'm quite certain Queen has the ultimate say-so. So I'm sure that at some degree they had to go along with it. I'm not letting them off the hook for it, but we'll see. I didn't read that far into it. All right, so that's it. I got to go. It's a little bit after 11. We started a little bit late. We ran a little bit late, but that's okay. That gives you guys the full hour. I covered most of what I want to talk about. I got through it. I got there. Did we not end on a good note? Yeah. Yeah, what did we learn here today? Hillary's a bitch, and fat bottom girls are being praised, and Two Bear drinks in the middle of the night and takes pictures of his flag during a hurricane. That's all we know. Listen, I got to go. I got to get out of here. Thank you guys for wasting an hour. If you're going to waste an hour of your time, what better place to waste it with Gen X Talks? I can't think of a better place to do that with. For whatever you got going on in your world, remember, there's always tomorrow. There will be tomorrow, and things will happen for a reason, and I can't explain what those always are. But remember, wherever you're listening from, AM, FM, Sirius XM, perhaps on the Armed Service Radio Network, around this little blue planet that we all share. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, wherever you go, there you are. And I'll catch you guys on the flip side.